Welcome back once again to the same tutorial of this blouse that we have been making. So I want to show you how to do some correction on this back pattern. So thank you for coming once again to see. In case you are seeing this in an online class, you are welcome back to the sewing. So there is something I want to correctly show you, which I made some corrections on. So you can see this my side at the back. I went on to add paper. That is why it is very good for you to draft your pattern on paper before placing it on fabric, because something like this might come up and you want to adjust. You can be able to adjust it on your paper before you cut on your fabric. So remember, at this side, what is my center back? At my center back, I took 1 inch in for my darts. Then at my side, I took 2 inches in for my darts. So I went on to adjust it by 1 inch. So what I do is to take 1 inch in for my waist, for my center front, then 1 inch in as well for my side back. So that is what I was able to put a paper here. Then I rolled my line straight down to this point, because my first dart which I took was like this, and it will not work because this side is shooting out, and if you go ahead to sew it, there will be an issue. After sewing it, this part will shoot out from your back, and you know your back is flat, not as your front. So for you not to get this shoot out, I went on to adjust my darts by 1 inch for the both side. So if you want to do that, make sure you correct that before doing it. So you can see what I did. I used my maxing tape to put my paper, then I went on to blend my lines, so you can see what I have here. Before I went on to put my sewing allowance, as I told you, my sewing allowance now 0.5 inch all the way down, 0.5 inch all the way down. So both for my front as well for my, this is my lining. I have gone ahead to pad my lining. As you can see, for my front, this is my back. So this is my front, which I have gone ahead to pad as well. So you can see my breast pad, which I have placed on this. So what I am going to do now is to sew my fabric together. So make sure you place your 0.5 inch all around your, just the way I showed you on how to do for your back. That is how you are going to do for your front before you pad. You do that before you pad. Take note. So go ahead to place your sewing allowance, then you cut out. So what I'm going to do for my front now is to sew my lining together. And I'm going to sew my fabric together before placing my beads. If you have been following me on YouTube, you will know on how to do this. So just go ahead to sew. Make sure this your under bust are meeting each other, then go ahead to sew all the way down to the up. Then you can go ahead to finish it downward. So I will go ahead to sew this and sew my back. So for my back, I'm going to start my sewing from this down, sew it upward. That's what I'm going to do for the rest part, both my lining. So let me go ahead to sew those parts, then come back to you. So I have gone ahead to sew them together. So this is my front. I went on to sew it together and did the same for my back. So what I'm going to do now is to get my back trace out from my front. So I want to make sure everything is in place before placing my satin fabric, rather my lace fabric on this. So what I'm going to do is to make sure everything is in place before going further to do anything which I want to do on this. So what I'm going to do now is to place this as I normally do. If you have been following me, this won't be strange for you. So what I'm trying to do now, you know, your back and your front is not supposed to be equal, and this is one thing most people don't know, or I don't want to say they are not showing you guys. I don't want to say that, because most people on YouTube, they have been trying. So you guys need to appreciate them no matter what. They need to appreciate. So if you remember, I took both my back and front measurements equally, because I took my round bust measurement, and when calculating with my marker and all of that, I made everything equal as equal shape. But for you to take note that your front is bigger than your back because of the bust. So the bust, because of the way the bust comes out, it consumes more measurements than the back, because the back is flat. the back is flat and the bust comes out like this. So when you take your round measurements and you divide it equal, if you make your front and your back equal, it will not be fit. So more measurement goes to your front than your back because of the shape of your bust. Hope you understand what I'm trying to say. So that is what I want to do here. I want to make sure my measurement here is correct before going further to do anything. So what I just did here now is the front, and because of the shaping, because of all this that to get my shape of my bust, it comes lesser than the back. If I take my measurement from this part down to this part, it is equal. But if I still take from here to this down, it is still equal. I don't know if you understand what I'm trying to say. So what I mean is that, let me get my tape. So your front is always fuller than your back because of the shape of your bust. So your bust makes your front bigger than your back. So let me say my shoulder to under bust. Let me say my shoulder to under bust. Let me set an example. So if I pass like this, I will get my shoulder to under bust 18.5, which I have here. Then you can see 18.5 from this top, which I have here. So once I spread when drafting my pattern, it was not sewn together. So I took my measurement from this spot to get my 18.5 before I now draft my measurements in my bust. So in the process of sewing your darts together for your side and your center, from in the process of sewing it together to get this shape, your fullness came just gave you the exact shape which you want. But for your back, it's just straight. So because of this height of your bust and this round, is consuming more space for your bust. So it is not like when it is straight as this. So if you took your measurement 18 for your front, and do when you want to sew everything, make sure you place it like this. So because I have placed it like this, now you have seen that my back is now longer than my front. So what I am going to do now, I am going to trim out any excesses which I have at my back, because my front is the main measurement which I am working with. So every measurement for my back, I use it to my front. Like now I have placed my fabric like this. As you can see, I've placed it like this and I've gotten my measurement, my bust measurement plus 2 inches of sewing allowance. And I still did the same thing for my back, my bust measurement plus 2 inches of sewing allowance. But now you can see the allowance which I have here, because your bust consume more fabric than your back, because your bust has the curvy part and your back is just straight. And you know the measurements which we have been taking, we take from the back, sorry, from the front. That is where we take our measurement. Even when you're measuring your client, you take your measurement from the front. So when cutting, we use from the front to get our back. And your front and back is not supposed to be equal. Your front is supposed to be bigger than your back. So what I'm doing now is I'm trying to trim out my back for me to get my perfect shape for my front and my back to be close as lines. I don't know if you understand what I'm trying to say. So what I'm doing now, because this person has a bigger bust, so their work is very delicate for you to do. So you need to take your time to do this. And this is a madam blouse. So what I'm trying to do now is to make sure I have a perfect setup before I trim out and still have my zipper allowance. So I'm trying to set everything to be in place before I trim out. So this is very necessary for you to do. So I am placing my fabrics. You don't just go ahead to just cut like that. You must make sure everything is in place before you cut, so you know what you are doing. Hope you understand. So that is what I'm trying to do now. I'm trying to get, because of the shape of your bust, it turns out somehow difficult when doing this. You don't just go ahead to sew. After getting your measurements, you go ahead to sew without making some adjustments like this. So I always make my adjustment. So whenever you want to sew yours, you can be able to get exactly what I showed you. That is what I am trying to do. So I don't want you to get a different result from mine. So you don't feel as if you missed something along the line. Maybe I might go off camera and trim all of this and come back to show you how it looks. So I just want to show you what you should do to get your perfect shape. So yeah, I'm gonna have to trim out my down. So this is my up which I want to do right now. So I told you I want it front and back to have the perfect shape. So I'm not going to trim out my neck yet because I want to confirm my neck with my lace which I am working with. I want to confirm my neck before cutting out. And for your back must not come in as the front there. I might still do a finish. I might still do a finish armhole trimming after sewing everything, so I don't miss my target. So I might still do my armhole trimming. I just need a base now to get everything done. Then when it comes to my armhole, I can get that one done. So let me just go ahead to make this perfectly shaped out. So for your back, so you can see the waist part of my back, you can see what I have here. So for me to get my back now, I need to make sure I have my zipper allowance, and this is the part which they always do the that tightening for your zipper parts. So what I'm going to do now is to get my zipper allowance from my back down to the bottom. So zipper allowance which we are working with is 2 inches. So just make sure you have your 2 inches from here down to the down part. So if you take a closer look at this your waist part, so you can see me terminating the excesses which I have there. So this will help my zip to relax properly. This will help my zip to relax. So I prefer doing it like this than cutting it on fabric because of what I just showed you now. For your back is longer than your front. So here now you know where your back is sitting. So you know the side where your 2 inches is going to come from after everything. So it is preferable for me. I prefer cutting my back, placing my front on my back to cut out because of things like this, to make sure everything is okay. So I hope you understand what I'm trying to say. So I'm going ahead to trim out the shape of my zipper part. So this is what I have here. So you can see what I have here. So I am going to place my lace on my satin fabric before I come to a conclusion on how to trim my neck, because I've not decided on that yet. I've used the lace to decide on how to make my neck. So what I'm going to do now, I am going to cut exactly the same shape as I have for my front and my back on my lining which I have. So let me go ahead to cut out my lining, then I'll come back to you. What I want to do, I'm going to have to cut out my lining exactly the way I did for my main satin. So what I'm going to do now is to get the midpoint for my front. So I need to get a midpoint for this down and the upper part. So what I'm going to do is to put my both darts together and notch the center of my center front like this to get my midpoint. And for the upper part, I'm also going to do the same thing, put my both darts together and notch. So after notching this part, I'm going to set, this is where the work began now, or begins. So what I'm going to do now is to get the depth of my neck. So I'm going to get the depth of my neck now, which is 8. So this is the 8 for the depth of my neck. So after getting the depth of my neck now, I'm going to place my lace on it. So I place my lace on it like this. So you can see I have my crease line. When I folded my fabric, I have my crease line. So this is my center piece now. As you can see, this is my center piece that is opened like this. So it is going to sit on my crease line. You can see where the flower split itself. So you can see from this point it comes out like this. So this point is going to sit at my crease line, exactly at that it which I have there for the neck depth. So it is going to sit there, and I will go ahead to pin them down. So once it is sitting like this, I will go ahead to make sure everything is in place, then I pin. So let me get my second ball to put under it so it does not fall in often. Okay, so what I have placed it now, so you can see the depth of my neck which I have here. So you can see it is not complete. So what I'm going to do now, later on, I'm going to complete my neck with another piece of net to complete the upper part of my neck. So what I have here, I'm going to make sure all these my lines are put in place. They should sit in place. It should, like, this partner should sit in the middle of your blouse which you want to make now. So I'm going to make sure this is sitting exactly at the middle. So I need to pin down with everything after placing it. So you need to take your time to do this.